guys, welcome back and welcome to everyone who's new. Very happy to have you here. Who I am so freaking excited about today. You guys don't even understand. We have the full-on Wetnwild Rebel Rose limited edition collection. Yes! Ever since I put in the order for this sucker, I have been tracking it. The weather's been holding it up. It has been like just had me on pins and needles waiting for this to get here. I've been really excited about this collection. There's just something about it that calls to me. Now the funny part is that I'm not really a huge fan of like roses or rose scented things, but the whole rebel part of the collection, the whole more dark mysterious part of the collection is something that definitely called to me. You guys don't have any idea how, like, just trying to get ready to do this video, I had to go get my favorite earrings. I'm like, oh, these match the box. I had to go pull out my spiked bracelet, which you'll probably never see because I'm like, this would be like thorns on a rose. I had to go pull out my shirt, which no one's ever gonna see, well, except for right now, because I'm sitting down the whole time and you never get to see anything. Anywho, nobody wants to hear me rambling about how long I took to get ready to do the video. And let's get into what's actually in here. Okay, so by now, I'm pretty sure everyone has already seen the collection online, which is probably why you're here to begin with. But anyway, just a quick rundown of everything that is in it. So starting off, we have the Wetnwild Photo Focus Rose Toner, which looks like this. Glass bottle, so they didn't skimp out or anything. I'm actually going to just hold it. All right, that saturates your face. Okay, so the rose scent on that is actually, I always poke myself in the eye, it's actually pretty mild. That's not bad because, again, I'm not someone who really loves the scent of rose too much. So when I'm trying out rose scented products, like, I'm just kind of cautious about how it's going to be. If it's too heavy, then I'm like, I'll pass. But that's not bad. That actually feels pretty good. And then you have the Photo Focus Rose Multi-Use Oil. Now this they call a body oil, so you can use it in your cuticles. Supposedly you can also use it in your hair or anything. Now since there's also the Rose Primer Serum, I'm not going to put this one on my face. However, I have actually pumped a little into my hand before and kind of just massaged it in. It does absorb nicely. You can still like snap your, you know what, let me actually just show you guys. Okay. So you get it in, you're massaging in good. The scent of rose is stronger on this. The first time I used it, I noticed that it did linger a pretty good amount of time, but it's not overwhelming. It's just if you, wherever you put it, if you happen to go smell that area, it will last a while, but it's not so overpowering that it's just taking over everything. So there's no greasy feeling afterwards. It does absorb really nicely and it does leave you with a soft feeling to the skin. And so the primer serum, I'm going to wait until I'm ready to do my face makeup, and I will be using this to prime my face later. The sugar scrub, I do like their sugar scrubs a lot. Some people don't like the fact that they're kind of dry, but that's what helps really scrub your lips effectively. I'm not going to open this one right now. I do have their watermelon one. Actually, in fact, let me get it so I can show you. Okay, so I have the watermelon one, which is the one I usually use. Oh, and I don't want to open a brand new one until I'm done with it. But, God, this one smells like annihilators. Ooh, this smells so good. It tastes pretty good too. But some people don't like licking it off their lips. But I do. But anywho, so I know their lip scrubs are really good. And then here you have this Wet n Wild's Tint of Corruption kind of jelly bomb thing. I'm not a fan of the color it turns out to be, mainly because I'm just not a fan of pinks at all. That's the lightest tint you'll get out of it, but the more you go over it, you can actually get that to tint even darker than that. I'm not a huge fan of it, and this actually feels more greasy than anything. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't actually feel moisturizing, and it really doesn't feel like it absorbs into the lips and it actually hydrates or anything like that. Like, it just feels like a layer that sits on your lips. But Moving right on from there, next up here we have the Rose in Peace Cream Blush. So it looks black, and then of course it's color changing like the balm. So you run your hands over it and then you rub it on your skin and it will begin to tint with your skin. I feel like this light is washing it out. My finger is getting more pink than anything else at this point, but that's the good thing about it, is that you can work in layers and build it up, and then hopefully just not go crazy and, you know, make your cheeks look like you had a 5-year-old go crazy on them. Next, we have here the Bed of Roses Quad, and that's what it looks like inside. The other quad is Secret Garden Rendezvous. And the last quad in the set is House of Thorns. So last but not least, we have the liquid lips here. I am, and here goes another 4 that I picked up. I'm a huge fan of Wet n Wild's liquid lip, the Katsu collection. I love all the colors that they have in the range. I love all the textures, that's the word I'm looking for, like some are shimmery, some are glittery, some are matte. I do have here, of course, in the collection, 2 of the more gloss style ones that they have, and then 2 of the matte hair ones too. I want to swatch Petal Poison and Bud Romance side by side so we can see the tone difference in them. Alright, so here you go. This one here is, nope, this one here is Bud Romance, and this one over here is Petal Poison. Okay, so here you have Deviant Damsel. And then over here is Kiss of Death. Okay, so that's it for all the makeup that came in the set. But now lastly, we have the 2 brushes. So here we have the blush brush. This is so soft, and for anyone who doesn't have any previous experience with Wet n Wild brushes, their brushes are actually really good. And I have here the full set that they first ever put out, and let me tell you, these are some of them are dirty. I haven't had a chance to clean them yet, but these are some of my favorite brushes to use out of my whole collection. And also, when they put out the Fire and Ice collection, I got the bronzer brush from it, which I think if you've seen enough of my videos, this has become one of my favorite bronzer brushes to use. And they also put out a highlighter brush, which I got as well. As you can see, it's pretty dirty because I've used this quite a bit as well. So Wet n Wild does come out with some really incredibly soft, nice quality brushes. And this already feels great. So I can't wait to actually try applying some blush with that. The only one I have some cause for concern with is this one here, which is the shader brush, the eyeshadow brush, because of the petals that are on the flower itself. So it is a soft feeling brush, no doubt, but the fact that they put the petal design on this just wasn't a fantastic idea for this brush, because to try to get in here, to try to get in here, you have them petals kind of jabbing at you. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to attempt to use it when I do my eye look today, but I just wanted to put that out there, that although it's a very cute looking brush, the design and everything, I wish they had put a little more thought to extending the bristles to give it, to give it more of an opportunity to actually be used as well as any other shadow brushes. So anyway, let me go take this lip off, put on some chapstick because those lip swatches were kind of rough, and let me go ahead and get started on the eyes. Okay, so the very last thing I did that you didn't see me do was just pop on some mascara. I was gonna put lashes, but I don't want anything kind of overrunning the eye look, as if that was even possible. This was fun. All this was just fun to play with. It pushed me to just do something way out of my comfort zone that I would never do. Just a couple of things. The House of Thorns palette is the only one I'm not completely over the moon about, mainly because the gold that's in here is a very greeny gold. It actually looks a lot brighter than it does when you get it onto your eyes. And then the green itself looks like it's going to be a beautiful metallic, but then you get it on your eyes and it just muddies and just ends up looking like a matte black. The matte black in here is pretty nice. It builds up pretty nicely. Not the blackest black I've ever used, but the two mattes in here were the best part of this whole quad right here. Bed of Roses is what I mainly used for my eye look at the end. I think all the colors performed beautifully. The two mattes blended in to each other very nicely, and the two shimmers, both beautiful. They work well with just tapping them on with your fingertips and you get amazing payoff, so that's great. Secret Garden Rendezvous. I just pinched the crap out of my finger. This was surprising because you have this color here, which is this like neutral taupey kind of color, and it has some gold flecks in it, but surprisingly enough, I went and I used it as a crease color anyway, because none of them really offer crease colors, at least not any neutral ones, and those kind of flake away, and it actually looks really nice as a neutral toned crease color. That was surprising. All the colors in here perform really well. I thought the navy blue was going to be a matte. It's not. It's actually a satin finish. So just keep that in mind. But this actually ended up performing really well. The cream cheek blush, I'm just not a fan of cream blushes myself personally. I think there's just too much room for error. It did go on nicely. It went on nicer with the brush than it did with my hand, which is usually the opposite when you're using cream blushes, so I was surprised by that. The color that it ended up giving off is not something that I particularly like myself, so thank God I went in with a very light hand to build it up, because I know that this sort of like a very pinky look is just not for me. But it did perform well, did what it was supposed to, just not a color that I prefer. As far as, okay, as far as the, if everything is done falling now, as far as the matte lips, I've already said 1,000 times before, I love the formula, so definitely two that I'm glad to add to my collection, especially the one I have on right now, Kiss of Death. I think it's gorgeous. And then the two glossy ones, they're very comfortable on the lips. They're not sticky at all. Like once you have them on and you're kind of going, they're not sticky. They don't have that stringiness, so very comfortable on the lips. Unfortunately, just not colors that I particularly love myself, but as a lip topper, not bad, because I took this one here, the Petal Poison, and I just tapped it into the center and then smacked my lips together to get like this little, you know, shiny bit of definition in the center there. So I ended up liking that a lot. Surprisingly, this actually worked really well. If you watched everything all the way through, you'll see that a couple of the first eye looks I did in fact use this brush, and I also used it to buff out the lower lash line. Yes, sometimes the petals that are on it can get in the way, but if there's certain ways you can hold it that will allow you to go and do your eye and not have anything to worry about, this buffs out those colors beautifully. The mattes buffed out super beautifully. It is super soft. It works really well. Again, it might be a little annoying to have to worry about where those petals are to get around it, but otherwise, I'm very much surprised by how well this ended up performing. I can't wait to try this with a regular powder blush, because it did very well diffusing the color from that cream blush. So I was really happy, and it's so freaking soft, you guys. Like, I'm a sucker for a freaking brush that feels like a damn cloud on your face. And I said it before, I said it again. I will sit here just blushing my face forever if I could just continue to feel that, because it feels so daggone good. The toner feels really nice on the skin. My skin had a lot of time just sit as I was doing the eyes, and it felt really nice when I finally went to go start doing my makeup. the Photo Focus Rose Primer Serum. I was a little concerned at first because you can see these gold dust flecks as you drop it into your hand. Actually, I still see them on my hand now, and they do get on your face, but it's nothing that shines through when your makeup is on. It just gives you this underglow that looks beautiful. It had a little slight tackiness, so you knew your makeup was going to stick to it. The smell of roses was there, but it was so faint and so light that it like faded away almost instantly, and it wasn't anything that bothered me at all. And like I said in the beginning, I don't even like rose scents, so that was just something that really made me very happy. Overall, everything in this collection is just so beautifully like done, and like I said, a couple of things that I weren't too happy about, but otherwise overall I'm so glad that I got my hands on it. I didn't think I was going to be able to. There were a lot of people that were really looking forward to it. If you didn't like everything in the collection, because I know I didn't, you can of course pick them up individually on Wet n Wild's website. Otherwise, that brings us to the end of the video. If you have any questions about anything in particular, please feel free to leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. If you haven't already, please comment, rate, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You all have an amazing rest of the week and wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.